This is the fourth question and part A, which was the bigger part. Your group has started a small to medium enterprise, an SME, known as the Take Charge Company, for production of batteries, a very nice name, charge batteries, and you take charge of the job. From time to time, a random sample of 6 batteries is selected from the output. So each time you test 6 pieces. So this is the sample size, 6. And the voltage of each battery is measured to make sure that the system is under control. Data from 16 such samples is given below, right? So whenever you test one sample is 6 pieces and you take the average. So sample 1, this is the mean value. Sample 2, it is the mean value. So 8 values are given here, and then 9 to 16 samples, these are the mean values. So the mean values are given and the ranges are given, ranges, minimum to maximum ranges. So 16 of these samples are there, but each sample has 6 pieces. Each sample has 6 pieces. So the sample size is small n is 6. But there are total of 16 samples that you test. 16 samples of 6 pieces each. Now these are the questions. What type of control chart should be used here? Why? What is the center line of the chart? And so on, right? So these are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, different questions. So let us take each one of them one at a time. But the problem you understand, right? That you are producing batteries. At one time you test 6 batteries. From those 6 batteries you take a mean value, the average, and the range, and you record it. Then you take another sample of 6 batteries, you take the mean value and the range, and you record it. Okay, so let us see what type of control chart should be used here and why. Both X bar and R charts can be used. Based on the data, you can do the X bar chart and you can do the R chart. So any company which wants to be very good in doing the control charts and so on usually does both of them. You can decide to use only X bar chart, you can decide to do only R chart, but they are both very simple. So if from the data you can find X bar and R charts both, then you do both of the charts. Second, what is the center line of the chart? Center line of the chart, you know it, you just take the mean value. So there are 16 averages given. You take the average of the averages. So you take the value of each of the sum divided by 16. This comes out to be, by my calculation, 5.06, and I think your calculation was also the same. It is the X double bar, right? X bar is for one sample. Those values are given, and X double bar, the grand average, is the mean of the mean, right? So what is the center line of the chart? It is this mean value. What is the lower control limit and what is the upper control limit? So now here, some of you gave the complete answer, many of you gave half answer, and some of you gave answers which I can't understand, right? Because as I said, there is the X bar chart and there is the R chart. So therefore you should find the upper and lower control limit based on X bar and the upper and lower control limit based on R. Now this was the table, right? This is the table, and n is equal to 6, right? The sample size is 6. So for sample size 6, read the value of A2, D4 and a small d2, right? 0.483, 2.04, 2.53. And then these formulas are there on your formula sheet. UCL X bar is X double bar plus A2 R bar. LCL X bar is X double bar minus A2 R bar. UCL R is D4 R bar. LCL R is D3 R bar. So just find the values, right? Just find the values. You have, of course, R values are also given. So just like X double bar, you find the R bar and then substitute the values. And these are the upper and lower control limits for X, 5.316, 4.804, for R, 1.062 and 0, right? So this is very, very simple. This is very, very simple. There is no rocket science, no big theory involved. Just take the values and plug in the values. But remember that the sample size is n. By mistake, some people took sample size small n is equal to 16. So of course it is outside the table, it is not there, and so on. Generally, I mean 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you don't want to test too much. You want to do it repeatedly. Every hour you take 5, every hour you take 5, but you don't want to check 16 batteries at one time and then every hour check 16, right? So this is C. D, what statistic should be plotted on the control chart for each sample, right? What statistic should be plotted on the control chart? So if the control chart is X bar chart, the sample mean. If the control chart is R chart, then the R bar, isn't it? You know that you see there is an X bar chart. So there, the center line, the statistic that you are plotting, each value that you are plotting should be the mean values. And for the R chart, you are plotting the R bar values for each one of them. So that is it. That is the value. Draw the control chart. Draw the control chart roughly on a piece of graph paper. So now, not on a piece of graph paper, your paper. So you have the value 5 point something, right? 5.0 something. So draw a line of 5.0 something. You have a value of 5.3 something as the upper. You have a value of 4.80 something as the lower. So these three lines you must draw. These three lines you must draw. This is your control chart. I have drawn it more accurately, but you roughly that there is a straight line, you write here 4.80, whatever the value of the LCL. You here write the value of the X double bar, and here you write the value of the UCL, upper control. And then number 1, what was the value? 4.89, this, that. So 1.2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You just do this. So you just roughly do the values. You will realize once you do this, that one value is 5.4 something. It is not 5.38, it is more 5.4 something. All other values are between the upper and lower, right? So this is roughly you draw it. Is this system under control? Why? So if you have drawn this correctly, as I just told you, one value is outside the control limit. As soon as any one or more than one value is outside the control limits, then you say that the process is not under control. No, the process is not under control. Why? Sample 11 is outside the upper control limit, right? So again, if you have drawn it correctly, which you should, the values you have all calculated on the previous pages. So if you have roughly drawn it correctly, your answer will be right. But if you are in too much of a hurry, you are not looking at it, and you say that yes, all values are inside, all values are under control, then of course this is a bad observation. Engineers should be very, very good in observing. And then what should the quality control engineer do? Because if it was under control, quality control engineer does not do anything. But because it is out of control, so he or she should try to find out the reason for the behavior of sample 11. Why is sample 11 so far from the mean? Why is it outside the control limit? Find the reason and then remove the cause. So this is the quality control people, quality assurance people, that they try to find the reason of why a problem is happening and try to remove the cause. So this was all the A to E, A to G, right, and so on. 4B was a very small problem, but let us see. An automatic machining process is set up to produce parts with a mean diameter of this. The process is in statistical control and the output is normally distributed with a variance of this. Using a 6 sigma process control approach, set the upper and lower control limits. We have told you it is called a 6 sigma. Earlier it was called a 3 sigma. 6 sigma means plus 3 sigma minus 3 sigma. So in this value, this is the formula, that the process control limit, upper limit is mean plus 3 sigma, lower limit is mean minus 3 sigma. This is what the control limit has. The only small thing is that variance is given in a square. Variance is a square of a standard deviation. So those of you who directly use this value will have a wrong number, but this is the variance, sigma square. So take the square root, find the standard deviation sigma, which is 0.004. So now it is mean plus 3 sigma. So mean is given, sigma is given, mean plus 3 sigma. Similarly, mean minus 3 sigma. So this is 6.255 plus minus 0.012 centimeter. These are the process control limits. Process control limits. If you write it as a plus minus, And if you write it as the upper limit and the lower limit, so this plus and this minus. So the upper and lower control limits are 6.243 and 6.267. So this is the answer of the question. Majority of you got it right. Some of you, if you don't remember what is 6 sigma, are talking of something totally haphazard. And some of you, if they are not concentrating that it is variance given, not a standard deviation, then they are using a wrong value in the calculation. So this was your problem 4. Problem 5, the last problem in casting, a different type of problem. Not the sprue design, not the time for solidification, a slightly different one, but a very simple one if you understand it. A jeweler wishes to produce 24 gold rings, and the dimension of a ring 25 outer dia, 16 inner dia, 10 millimeter width of one ring, and he wants to make 24 gold rings like this. Rings you wear on your hand and so on, right, on your fingers. In one is investment casting operation. He is doing this by investment casting. The wax parts are attached to a wax central sprue, 12 millimeter in diameter and 13 millimeter in length. So this is the central sprue. The rings are located in 4 rows. 1 row, 2nd row, 3rd row, 4th row. This is a central sprue, and some rings are here, some rings are here, some rings are here, right? In 4 rows, each 12 millimeter from the other on the sprue, right? The distance between each one of them, this set of rings and this second set of rings, is 12 millimeter apart. The rings require a 3 millimeter diameter, 12 millimeter long runner, right? From the sprue there is a runner. From the sprue there is a runner. So the size of the runner is 3 millimeter dia, 12 millimeter long. Estimate the weight of gold. Actually weight means mass, right? But weight is a general term. Estimate the weight of the gold needed to completely fill the rings, runners and sprues. The density of gold is 19.3 into 10 raised to 3. Sorry, not 103, 10 raised to 3 kilogram per meter cube. So the density of gold is given, and now this data is there. So again, if you want to practice it again, as I keep on saying, every problem that is here, you have done it earlier, but just take a blank page and so on calculator and start solving it again, so that you have a very good practice of solving casting problems. So now for runners, right, the dia is 3 milli and the length is 12 milli. Runner, right, 3 milli, 10, this is the runner. So the volume, and there are 24 of them, right, 24. To each ring, one runner goes there. So pi by 4 d squared L. This is a cylinder, right, dia and length. So pi by 4 d squared L. D is this value, L is this value. There are total 24 runners. So the volume of the runners is this much millimeter cube. Sprue. Dia 12, length 38, right? Sprue, dia 12, length 38, and there is just one sprue. So pi by 4 d squared L, put the value, and you have this much millimeter cube. Rings now, rings. So for rings, dia 25, outside dia, inside dia width, it is given. And whenever it is outside dia, inside dia width, then it is pi by 4 into d outside square minus d inside square, right? Pi by 4 do square minus pi by 4 di squared, and into the width. So you again substitute the values, this is the answer. And then if you add all of them, the sprue, the rings and the runner, then the total volume is this. Density is mass per unit volume. So mass is density into volume. Density is given, total volume is given. Just do it and you get the kilogram. This I have done 1000 cube because it is in millimeter, right? It is in millimeter. Each millimeter is 1000, right? 1 meter is 1000 millimeter. So therefore I have divided by 1000 cube to get the answer directly in kilogram. Otherwise you will get the answer in a small amount, right? So directly the answer is 1.466 kilogram. So this is again, right, a question where it was pretty simple if you have done it correctly. If you think about it, that is okay. So this is all about the midterm, and if you have taken it as a second practice session, then hopefully you have done a lot of thinking and a good practice.